Hello everyone, and you're welcome to the other side of the bridge football channel. And we start today's episode on a very sad note. Reports just coming in that our defender Levi Colwill just tore his ACL. He has an ACL injury, and he underwent surgery last night to fix the issue. We all know how devastating ACL injuries are. It's almost a death sentence for a footballer, at least some years back. But things seem to have improved in terms of technology. But usually the player still goes out for about 1 year. So look, Colwill is going to be out for the rest of the season. So sad, Colwill has started to come into his own, looking like the heir apparent to John Terry. Look, we know John Terry is going to be very hard to replace, but look, this guy has shown a lot of quality over the past matches, especially the second half of the season. And when he first came in from Brighton, I had my reservations about him, whether he was, good enough, to take us to that next level. But hey, he's proven himself over the, couple of months, and it's very sad seeing such a quality player, very, very important player for Chelsea, go out just in training, not even in full match, not even in match actually, just training, our first training after coming back from pre-season. The boys were given 3 weeks off. So they just have a match tomorrow playing against Leverkusen. So in preparation for that match was when he tore his ACL. But hey, successful surgery, but he'll be out for the rest of the season. If he can come back sooner, usually, like I said, this type of injuries is usually a death sentence. We've had players like Alexandre Pato, we have players like Radamel Falcao. So many players got their ACL turned and they never came back the same. I think Broja actually tore his ACL at some point. I might be confusing him with someone else, but I think Broja tore his ACL also, and he hasn't been the same player ever since. Like I said, same thing with Alexandre Pato, same thing with Radamel Falcao. Falcao was a deadly, feared attacker back in the day, and after he tore his ACL, he never came back the same. Fingers crossed that doesn't, or that's not the same situation with Colwill. I pray he comes back stronger, he comes back even better than he was. But that would usually mean that he will have to be loaned out, to a lesser club to get more game time, to recover better, which is usually the way to go. So we may not be seeing Colwill in our team for maybe another 2 seasons, which is quite a long time. Colwill has been good for us, like I said. Now it's time to turn our sights into what the solution is going to be. Are we going to go with the squad we already have 2 weeks before the start of the season, or do we go on a hunt for another central back to replace Levi Colwill? Look, no serious club is going to sell you a quality central back at this time of the season. And knowing very well, a lot of players will know very well that they're just a stopgap to when Colwill comes back into the team. So they may be reluctant to come to Chelsea. But 2 options: do we get a centre back, or do we rely on what we have? We still have Garnacho, even though he's currently injured, but he's not going to be as serious as Colwill. We have Garnacho, we have Chaluba. We also have the young Josh Achipong, and let's not forget we have Hato, we have Tose Adarabioyo. So this is our options in that position. Are they quality enough to take up that mantle that has been dropped by the absence of Colwill, or do we need to get another central back? So those are 2 options. Either we stick and we trust what we have, and let's not forget we also have Fofana. Even though, look, Fofana is not one that you put down your chips on. Is constantly injured. He plays 2, 3, 4 matches and goes injured for the next 6 months. So I really don't want to talk about Fofana, or I don't want to put my hopes on Fofana. So The player I'm looking at, Hato can slot right in, but that means we have to also go out again and get a backup for Cucurella. So it's, it's kind of dicey. If you were to ask me, I would say, look, let's stick with what we have. The young Josh Achepong looks like a quality player. We need to give him that trust, but will he be a first team starter is the question. Badeshe doesn't seem to be, what we thought he was when we brought him from Monaco. Chaluba has already cemented that right-sided defensive centre-back position. Kantosi, Adarabioyo, be as reliable as Colwill. That's left to be seen. But hey, we're caught in a quagmire, and that means that our chase or our hunt for Garnacho, we may need to put a pause on that because Man U are reportedly asking for £50 million, which is quite a lot for a player that they don't seem to want. And to be honest, if Chelsea go out to spend £50 million on Garnacho, I think that's a very, very messed up deal. So we really need to take our time, look at, what's the right move in this predicament, because going one player down at the beginning of the season mentally, may not be too good for the team. But yeah, let's look at our options and, go for the right player or the right player we need in the right position. I think we're already stacked in the attacking line, to be honest. Even with the coming or the proposed coming of Simons, I think we're good in the attack, and we should, cement our defense or, get some additions to our defense to cover up for Levi Colwill. So let me know your thoughts. Do we stick with what we have, or do we go for another central back to replace Levi Colwill? I'll see you next time.